Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins All World. Coin enthusiasts. Today, we're talking about a coin that might not get as much attention as others, but it definitely deserves to be on your radar, the 1973 Washington quarter dollar. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious newcomer, this coin has some fascinating qualities and potential value that could surprise you. In this video, we'll break down its key features, discuss the errors to look for, explain why it's valuable, and show you how to spot a rare, high-value 1973 Washington quarter dollar. So, let's dive right in and see what makes this coin so special. The 1973 Washington quarter dollar was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing millions of quarters each year. The design of the coin, created by John Flanagan, features the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse, facing left. Below Washington's portrait, you'll see the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the year of minting, which in this case is 1973. This design has been the same for decades, making the Washington quarter dollar one of the most recognizable coins in U.S. history. On the reverse side of the 1973 quarter, you'll find an eagle perched on a branch with its wings spread wide. Above the eagle, the words "United States of America" are inscribed, along with the coin's denomination, quarter dollar. This reverse design has remained consistent throughout the years, symbolizing strength and freedom. Now that we've covered the basics of the coin's design, let's talk about what really sets the 1973 Washington quarter dollar apart: its errors. While most 1973 quarters may seem like typical, everyday coins, there are some rare errors that can make them extremely valuable to collectors. And understanding these errors is key if you want to spot a potential goldmine hidden in your change jar. The first error to look for is the double die error. This happens when a coin is struck multiple times, causing parts of the design to be imprinted in duplicate or offset. In the case of the 1973 Washington quarter, the most common place to see a double die error is in the word "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" on the obverse. If you notice that the letters appear to be doubled or blurry, there's a good chance you found a coin with this error. Another error that can occur is the off-center strike. When a coin isn't properly aligned with the die, it can cause the design to shift, leaving part of the coin's features missing or off-center. With the 1973 quarter, if the design is noticeably shifted to one side, revealing a portion of the blank planchet or cutting off part of the eagle on the reverse, you could be looking at a rare error that could significantly boost the coin's value. You'll also want to keep an eye out for clash die errors. This occurs when the dies used to strike the coin come into contact with each other, leaving faint impressions of the opposing die's design on the coin. For example, you might notice part of the reverse design, such as the eagle or the quarter dollar text, imprinted on the obverse side of the coin. A clash die error is a fascinating feature and can make a 1973 quarter quite valuable, but why exactly are these 1973 Washington quarters with errors so valuable? Well, the answer lies in rarity and demand. While standard 1973 quarters are worth just 25 cents, error coins are far less common, making them highly sought after by collectors. The more unusual and noticeable the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Plus, because error coins are often one-of-a-kind, they have a unique appeal that standard, circulated coins don't possess. The rarity factor alone can significantly increase the price. When it comes to spotting a valuable 1973 Washington quarter dollar, the key is to look closely at the details. Grab a magnifying glass or coin loop and examine the coin under good lighting. Check the obverse side for any signs of double die errors. Specifically, look for any doubling or blurring in the inscriptions, especially "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Also, inspect the reverse side for any signs of the off-center strike or clashed die errors. These errors can sometimes be faint, so make sure to give the coin a thorough inspection. Additionally, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. A 1973 Washington quarter in excellent, near-mint condition is always more valuable than a heavily worn coin. Coins that have sharp, clear details, minimal scratches, and no significant wear will fetch a much higher price than those that are scratched, dinged, or damaged. So, take care of your coins, and always store them properly in a safe place, like a coin holder or a protective case. Now, let's talk about just how valuable a 1973 Washington quarter dollar can be. While most 1973 quarters in average condition are only worth face value, 25 cents, error coins are where the real money is. A 1973 Washington quarter with a noticeable double die, off-center strike, or clashed die can be worth anywhere from $3,300 to $70,000, depending on the severity of the error and the coin's condition. That's right, if you come across one of these rare error coins, you could be holding on to something worth thousands of dollars. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a coin with a cool error, like a double die or off-center strike? Or maybe you've got a 1973 Washington quarter in your collection that you're wondering about? Drop a comment below and share your stories. I love hearing about your coin collecting journeys. That's all for today's deep dive into the 1973 Washington quarter dollar. Whether you're just starting out in the world of coin collecting or you've been in the game for years, this coin holds some exciting potential. If you find a 1973 quarter with a rare error, like a double die, off-center strike, or clashed die, it could be worth anywhere from $3,300 to $70,000. Now that's a find. Today we're diving into the world of one of the most interesting and valuable quarters in U.S. history, the 1970 Washington quarter dollar. Now, this coin might seem like just another quarter at first glance, but trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. In today's video, we'll uncover the key features of the 1970 Washington quarter, discuss the errors to watch out for, explain why some of these quarters are so valuable, and show you how to spot one that could be worth thousands of dollars. So, let's get started. The 1970 Washington quarter dollar was minted during a time when the United States was transitioning through some interesting changes, both in the economy and in its coinage. The Washington quarter itself has remained a staple in U.S. coinage since its design by John Flanagan, which features George Washington's portrait on the obverse side. This design is well known and loved by collectors and has seen very little alteration over the decades. On the reverse side, you'll find a majestic eagle perched on a branch with its wings spread. The coin's wording, United States of America, arches over the eagle, while the words, quarter dollar, are at the bottom of the coin. This design has become synonymous with strength and liberty, which is why Washington quarters hold such a prominent place in coin collections. Now, the 1970 Washington quarter dollar, like many other coins, isn't necessarily rare by itself. However, as with most coins, there are certain features, or rather errors, that can make a 1970 Washington quarter extremely valuable. If you happen to come across one of these error coins, you could be looking at something worth a lot more than just its face value. One of the most common errors to look for on the 1970 Washington quarter is the double die error. This happens when a coin is struck more than once, with slight misalignment between the two strikes. As a result, some of the coin's design features, like the lettering or parts of the image, may appear doubled. If you look closely at the obverse of the 1970 quarter, you might notice that the words, Liberty or, In God We Trust, seem a little blurry or doubled. This is the telltale sign of a double die error. And believe me, finding one of these coins can seriously boost its value. Another error you might come across is the off-center strike. This occurs when a coin is not properly aligned when it's struck, causing part of the design to be off-center. If you find a 1970 quarter where the design is shifted to one side, revealing part of the blank planchet, or if part of the design is missing entirely, you could have a rare and valuable error coin in your hands. These off-center errors are highly sought after by collectors, and they can make your 1970 quarter worth far more than its face value. Additionally, some 1970 quarters have been known to feature clashed die errors. This happens when the dies used to strike the coin come into contact with each other, leaving an imprint of the opposite side's design. If you notice faint traces of the reverse design, such as part of the eagle or quarter dollar, showing up on the obverse side, it's a sign of a clashed die error. These types of errors are often rare, and their uniqueness can make a coin significantly more valuable. So, why exactly are these error coins so valuable? The answer lies in their rarity and collector demand. Most 1970 Washington quarters are worth just their face value, which is 25 cents. However, error coins, particularly those with doubled dies, off-center strikes, or clashed dies, are much less common. The more pronounced and clear the error, the more sought after the coin becomes among collectors. And as more people recognize the rarity of these error coins, the price tag for a 1970 Washington quarter can climb significantly. In fact, an error coin in pristine condition can fetch anywhere from $3,300 to $73,000. So how do you spot a valuable 1970 Washington quarter? First, grab a magnifying glass or a coin loop to really inspect the fine details of the coin. Start with the obverse side, pay close attention to the letters of Liberty and In God We Trust. If you notice any doubling or blurry areas in the text, you may have a double die error on your hands. Then, check the reverse side for any signs of the off-center strike or clashed die errors. If part of the design is shifted or you see faint impressions of the other side's design, you've got a rare error coin. Also, remember that the condition of the coin is crucial when determining its value. Coins in pristine, near-mint condition are worth significantly more than those that are scratched, worn, or damaged. So, if you have a 1970 Washington quarter that's in excellent condition with sharp, clear details, you could be looking at a potential treasure. Before we wrap up, I want to know, have you ever found a coin with a rare error? Maybe a 1970 Washington quarter with some strange doubling or an off-center strike? Drop a comment below and share your stories with us. It's always fun to hear about the discoveries you've made, and there you have it, the fascinating world of the 1970 Washington quarter dollar. While it may seem like just another coin, a close look could reveal something much more valuable. With error coins like double die, off-center strikes, and clashed dies, a 1970 quarter can be worth anywhere from $3,300 to $73,000, depending on the rarity and condition. Today we're diving into one of the most intriguing and valuable quarters in U.S. history, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar. Now, you might look at a 1979 quarter and think it's just another common coin, but there's so much more to this particular year's issue that makes it special. If you're into coin collecting or just love discovering hidden gems, this video is for you. So, sit back, relax, and let's get into everything you need to know about the 1979 Washington quarter and why it could be worth thousands. The 1979 Washington quarter is part of the series that's been in circulation since 1932. It features the iconic image of George Washington, our first president, on the obverse, and the reverse shows an eagle perched with a branch, a symbol of strength and freedom. The design is simple, but timeless, and it's remained virtually unchanged for decades. However, don't be fooled. While the 1979 Washington quarter might look like your standard quarter at first glance, there are some key details and errors that could make it incredibly valuable. That's what we'll explore today. First, let's talk about the key features of the 1979 Washington quarter. The 1979 quarter has a composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, which is typical for modern U.S. coinage. It weighs 5.67 grams, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. It was minted at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, and you'll notice a mint mark on the reverse side if it was minted in Denver or San Francisco. Philadelphia minted quarters, on the other hand, don't have a mint mark. Now, this is where things get interesting. The 1979 Washington quarter has some error coins that could make it much more valuable than face value. If you're a coin collector or just someone who enjoys treasure hunting, you'll want to pay close attention to these errors. One of the most significant errors to look for is the double die error. This is a type of mistake that happens during the minting process when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned and strikes the coin more than once. The result is a coin with duplicated images, which can often be seen in the date or lettering. If you find a 1979 Washington quarter where the word Liberty or In God We Trust looks doubled or blurry, you could be looking at a valuable double die error. Double die coins are highly sought after by collectors, and they can significantly increase the value of your coin. Another error to be aware of is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned with the die, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. If you find a 1979 quarter where the design is off-center or part of it is missing, that could mean you've stumbled upon a rare and valuable coin. Off-center errors are often considered more desirable among collectors due to their unique appearance and rarity. The clash die error is another mistake you might come across in the 1979 Washington quarter. A clash die happens when the dies used to strike the coin come into contact with each other without a coin between them. This causes the reverse design to be imprinted on the obverse side or vice versa. If you spot any faint outlines of the eagle or quarter dollar on the obverse side of the coin, then it's a clash die error, and it can make the coin worth a lot more than you think. So, why is the 1979 Washington quarter, especially those with errors, so valuable? The answer lies in the rarity of these errors. Most 1979 quarters are fairly common and only worth face value, but error coins are much more difficult to find. They're like little treasures hidden in plain sight. Collectors love rare and unique coins, and the more pronounced and clear the error is, the more valuable the coin becomes. In fact, an error coin in good condition can be worth anywhere from $3,300 to $75,000 depending on the type of error and its condition. Now, you might be wondering, how can I spot a valuable 1979 Washington quarter? Well, it's all about closely examining the details. The first thing you want to do is grab a magnifying glass or a coin loop to inspect the coin's design. Start with the obverse side and look at the letters of Liberty and In God We Trust. Are they doubled or blurry? That's a sign of a double die error. Next, flip the coin over and check the reverse side. Look for any off-center strikes, where the design might appear shifted or incomplete. Finally, examine the coin for any faint traces of the other side's design. This could indicate a clash die error. Also, don't forget about the condition of the coin. Coins in mint or near mint condition will always be worth more than those that are worn or damaged. If you happen to have a 1979 Washington quarter in excellent condition, even without an error, it could still fetch a higher price than face value. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever come across a 1979 Washington quarter or any other coin with a rare error? Maybe you found a double die, an off-center strike, or even a clash die. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. Who knows, you might just have a treasure hiding in your pocket change. There you have it. The 1979 Washington quarter dollar is far more than just another coin in circulation. While it may seem like a typical quarter, the errors we've discussed can turn it into something incredibly valuable. Whether it's the double die, off-center strike, or clash die, a rare error could mean your 1979 Washington quarter is worth anywhere from $3,300 to $75,000 depending on the rarity and condition. Today, we're going to talk about one such coin, the 2018 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin may look like just another regular quarter, but if you look a little closer, you might just discover a hidden gem. Let's dive into why this coin is so valuable, what you should be looking for, and how you can potentially spot a quarter that could be worth thousands of dollars. The 2018 Washington quarter dollar is part of the ongoing series that began in 1932, showcasing the bust of George Washington on the obverse, and the American eagle on the reverse. It's a design that's not only iconic but has become a staple of U.S. coinage. The 2018 quarter was minted with the standard composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, giving it a weight of 5.67 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. You'll find this coin from multiple mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Keep an eye out for the mint mark located on the reverse side beneath the eagle. This can help identify where it was made. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about the 2018 Washington quarter? Isn't it just another regular coin? Well, here's where things get exciting. The 2018 Washington Quarter is a bit of a sleeper when it comes to valuable coins. It was issued as part of the America the Beautiful series, with each coin highlighting a different national park or historical landmark. This series has always been popular with collectors because it celebrates the beauty and heritage of the United States. But there's more to it than just the standard issue. While the 2018 Washington Quarter is fairly common in circulation, collectors have spotted some important errors that make certain versions of the coin highly valuable. And when I say valuable, I'm talking about prices anywhere from $3,300 to $76,000, yes, you heard that right. So, what should you be on the lookout for? Let's dive into the key features and errors that can make a 2018 Washington Quarter truly stand out. The first and most exciting error to look for is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck more than once, causing some of the designs to overlap or become blurry. On a 2018 quarter, you'll likely see this error in the date, lettering, or the eagle's feathers. The more pronounced and clear the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. A double die error in pristine condition can make a coin worth far more than its original value. Next, we have the off-center strike. This error happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, resulting in the design being shifted to one side of the coin. If you find a 2018 Washington Quarter with a noticeable off-center strike, this could greatly increase its worth. Off-center errors are rare, so finding one means you've got a unique coin that collectors will certainly take interest in. Another error that can appear on a 2018 quarter is the clashed die error. This occurs when the dies used to strike the coin make contact with each other without a coin in between. This can result in some of the design from the reverse side of the coin appearing on the obverse side. If you notice part of the eagle's design on the front of the coin, you could be looking at a valuable clashed die error. These coins are highly prized because they're so unusual and striking in appearance. So, why are these errors so valuable? It all comes down to rarity. Most 2018 quarters that you come across are going to be pretty standard and worth just 25 cents. But when you find one with a double die, off-center strike, or clashed die error, that's when the coin becomes a true treasure. Error coins are much harder to find than regular coins, and collectors love the uniqueness and rarity that these mistakes bring. The more noticeable the error, the higher the demand among collectors, which leads to higher prices. If you're wondering how you can spot a valuable 2018 Washington Quarter, it's pretty simple. First, start by carefully inspecting the coin with a magnifying glass or coin loupe. Check for any doubling in the date, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust. If you see any signs of duplication, you might have a double die error. Next, check the alignment of the design. If it's off-center or the design looks slightly out of place, you may have an off-center strike. Finally, take a close look at both sides of the coin to see if any of the reverse design appears on the obverse. If you spot this, congratulations, you may have found a clashed die error. It's also important to remember that condition plays a huge role in determining the value of a coin. Coins in mint or near mint condition will always fetch a higher price than those that are worn, scratched, or damaged. So, when you find a rare 2018 quarter with an error, make sure to keep it in great condition to maximize its value. Before we wrap up, I've got a question for you. Have you ever come across a coin with an error like a double die, off-center strike, or clashed die? If so, what was the coin, and how did you spot the mistake? I'd love to hear your stories. Drop a comment below, and let's get the conversation going. Who knows? You might just have a treasure hiding in your coin jar that could be worth thousands. So there you have it, everything you need to know about the 2018 Washington Quarter dollar and why it could be worth far more than just 25 cents. Whether it's a double die error, an off-center strike, or a clashed die error, keep an eye out for these rare coins because they can be worth anywhere from $3,300 to $76,000 depending on the error and condition. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and tap the. Today, we're diving into a coin that may not be on everyone's radar, but it certainly should be. We're talking about the 1971 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that, at first glance, might seem like just another piece of pocket change. But trust me, it's got more going for it than meets the eye. If you're a coin collector or even just starting to get into this hobby, this video is packed with tips on why the 1971 Washington quarter could be worth a whole lot more than 25 cents. Stick around to find out how you can spot a valuable one, so let's start with the basics. The 1971 Washington quarter is part of the ongoing series that began in 1932, and you'll notice the classic design featuring George Washington's profile on the obverse, and the majestic eagle on the reverse. It's a design we've all seen before, but this particular year holds some hidden treasures. The quarter is composed of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter. Now, keep in mind that the 1971 quarter was minted at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, so check for a mint mark to help determine where it was produced. But why, you may ask, is the 1971 Washington quarter so special? Well, like many coins, it has certain features and potential errors that make it stand out to collectors. One thing that makes it more valuable than your everyday quarter is its connection to a few significant errors that occurred during the minting process. These errors are what really make this coin interesting and valuable. Let's start with the most exciting one, the double die error. This is a major point of interest for collectors. What happens here is that the die used to strike the coin malfunctions, causing the design to be impressed more than once, creating a noticeable doubling effect. For the 1971 Washington quarter, you'll likely see this error in the date, the letters of Liberty, or the words, "In God We Trust." If you spot any kind of visible doubling on these features, you could be looking at a significant find. The more pronounced and clear the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if it's in good condition. A coin with a double die error can be worth anywhere from a few $100s to several $1,000s, depending on its condition and rarity. Next, let's talk about another error that can pop up, the off-center strike. This is when the coin doesn't line up perfectly in the press during minting, causing the design to appear off-center. It could be slightly off or even drastically misaligned. Off-center coins are highly prized because they are quite rare to come by. If you find a 1971 Washington quarter with an off-center strike, and it's in good shape, you could have yourself a nice little treasure that could fetch you a pretty penny. Another potential error on the 1971 quarter is the clash die error. This occurs when the dies used to strike the coin collide with one another, often without a coin in between them. This can leave behind faint or clear imprints of one side's design on the other side. In the case of the 1971 Washington quarter, this could mean a part of the eagle's design showing up on George Washington's side of the coin, or vice versa. If you're lucky enough to find a clash die error on a 1971 quarter, you're holding onto a rare and valuable piece. Now, why are these errors so important? Error coins like these are not only rare but also highly sought after by collectors. Every time the minting process goes wrong, it creates something unique that can't be replicated, and that's what makes error coins so exciting. Collectors love the stories these coins tell, how they were created by mistake but ended up being some of the most valuable pieces of American numismatics. Now, if you're out there hunting for these quarters, you'll want to make sure you know how to spot a valuable one. First, check for the classic features of the 1971 Washington quarter, then use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to get a close-up look at the date, the lettering, and the designs on the coin. If you see any signs of doubling, that's the first thing to note. Next, check for an off-center strike. You should be able to tell pretty quickly if the design is misaligned. Lastly, don't forget to check for any signs of a clash die error. Look for an impression of the eagle or other design elements on the opposite side of the coin, but it's not just the errors that make this coin valuable. The 1971 Washington quarter also has great appeal because of its scarcity in certain conditions. The coin itself isn't particularly rare, but when you find one with an error, and it's in good condition, especially one that's been well preserved and maintained, that's when it can really rack up some serious value. A pristine coin, free from wear and tear, will always fetch a higher price than one that's been in circulation for years. Now, let's get to the fun part, the potential value of the 1971 Washington quarter. If you find one with a notable error, such as a double die or an off-center strike, depending on its condition, it could be worth anywhere from $3,300 to $79,000. And of course, the more noticeable and dramatic the error, the higher the price it could command on the market. Alright, before we wrap up, I've got a question for you. Have you ever come across a Washington quarter with an error? Maybe it was the 1971, or another year. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories, and who knows, maybe you have a hidden treasure in your pocket right now. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on future coin hunting tips and tricks. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting.